Okay, Wednesday, May 20th. Getting near the end. Seniors are done. 4 weeks to go here. So we're focused on court systems. You had a couple of things due earlier in the week one was from last week, one was Monday's assignment technically. Supreme Court Pear Deck it was Monday. I've extended the deadline on that to Friday, May 22nd. You can get it done sooner. You're making your best effort on those. There's a brief video in this particular Pear Deck that you need to watch. There's the embedded audio and a brief video with some questions on the inner workings of the Supreme Court, and very near and dear to my heart. The organization of federal courts WebQuest that I explained on Monday, where you're answering questions and you're tracking your scores. The assignment 30, those are overdue. The state court triangle, I mentioned on the state court triangle was an assignment that was actually from last Wednesday. That's overdue as well. And the same thing with the organization of the federal courts that was technically due last night, but obviously you can still work on that if you have not finished that. The state court triangle I moved over here now. That was due on Monday. The state court triangle was the one where you were looking at different notes on different organizations of the state courts and filling in the blanks based on the notes that I gave you, based on the web pages that I gave you. And actually, and 513's agenda had an extensive explanation of that. And then the Pear Deck is pretty self-explanatory. There's embedded audio. There's been in other ones. And then there's also a video with that. What I really need to explain is today's, and this will wrap up this week, in terms of required work, required assignments in the iCivics in the courts WebQuest. We're going to start shifting our focus a little bit to looking at the interworkings of trial procedures. And it's I've got some other stuff I didn't want to necessarily bog you down with. We may look at that next week, trial procedures. And for now, let's get an introductory look at trial procedures and look at it through the eyes of a judge. And so to do that, we're going to look at a WebQuest in iCivics, which is a government civics site. I've put these instructions in Classroom as well, so you can look at them there. I'm actually going to demonstrate them now. This iCivics in the court WebQuest, I'm actually going to demonstrate it now. So I need to copy out the Classroom code. The Classroom, the way these things work, they name them after famous Supreme Court justices, and they assign a number for the classes that I set up. So that's how that ends up working. I'm actually going to open up another window here and go to the link iCivics.org, which I have linked in Classroom. And then once I get to iCivics.org, it'll ask me if I want to donate. You don't necessarily need to donate. I want to sign in. With your sign in, you're going to want to do it with, you're going to want to sign in with Google. Okay, sign in with Google. Down here, sign in with Google, right? And you're going to want to use your LKFN. So I'm going to do that. In this case, I'm going to use my Gmail because I've already used my Lake Fenton account as the teacher account, so I don't want to confuse things. And then so you'll sign in, and once you've done that once, it'll probably remember your email. And then you're going to want to go to looking at free resources. You're going to want to go to up here to My iCivics, always in the right-hand corner. Sign in or My iCivics is where you want to go, and you want to go to classes. You want to go to classes. It might give you a name. Gave me Cypress Judge L2J9. Hopefully you don't need to remember that now that we're able to log in with Google. You want to join a class. And to join a class, we're going to put in the class code, that class code that's on Classroom, that's on the slideshow, join class. And now I'm in Law and Society second semester. And here's the assignment that's due on May 27th, next Wednesday. So in the court's WebQuest, and I'll show you. So in this particular case, you're going to watch some videos and respond to the questions right in the iCivics WebQuest. You're going to watch some videos about criminal versus civil cases, which you've done before. You could be a judge, looking at What happens before trial? The mounds of paperwork. A trial is actually very scripted. I told you that we don't many cases don't go to trial. I didn't do a very good job. I don't have much time to think about all the pre-trial information. Let's say they've been arraigned on the charges and they're gone. They've pled to the case and now they're going to go to court. And then we need to look at what these are, what happens at trial, and then and so on. So basic introductions, and you're going to give responses in complete sentences based on these video links. Okay, based on these video links. So I'm not going to necessarily do this right now. I'm going to log out. But that's how you get into iCivics. Okay, very kind of specific instructions. It doesn't link nicely to Classroom, but I like it because it gives you it's a little different than me, doing a Pear Deck or whatever, to give you a viewpoint of the pre-trial to trial process, especially the trial process, and that's kind of the major objective. So the iCivics in the Courts WebQuest to give you an idea of trial process and pre-trial to trial process, arrest to trial, as we might call it, the procedures. Usually I go through some notes in class. I don't know if I'll do that next week or not. I'll have to see. So again, State Court Triangle, if you haven't done it, organization of the Federal Courts WebQuest, U.S. Supreme Court Pear Deck. Those are the U.S. Supreme Court Pear Deck is now due May 22nd. Organization of the Federal Courts and State Court Triangle are overdue. Technically, these were the 2 Monday assignments, even though I've spread them out. As far as that goes, and then the iCourt Civics WebQuest I've got for next Wednesday. Make note that that will end up as a missing assignment as well, and the missing assignments are all now due on any missing incomplete assignments for credit toward the letter grade are due on Friday, May 29th, unless they were assigned the last week, which we'll get to next week on the last week after Labor Day. Okay, so I think that will cover it for now. Make sure you're catching up on missing assignments or late assignments as needed.